Hi there, and thanks for tuning into this week's edition of your Wheel and Anchor weekly newsletter. Well, current affairs are all across our social media, in our newspapers, and it's all in our face, all of the tumultuous events that are happening around the world. But I, as you probably well know by now, remain optimistic for travel for the future. I believe that the events that are happening in between Russia and the Ukraine will largely remain contained, and I'm certainly hopeful, like most of us are. And the signs are very positive as far as travel is concerned, because in talking to colleagues from different parts of the world, people are desperate to get out and tour around. And so the impact that's been having, as I alluded to in a newsletter a couple of weeks ago, is that all of the spaces, not all of the spaces, but many of the spaces in hotels that we have reserved and lodges and the like are being snapped up by people that are anxious to get out and do all those special things. And of course, as you know, on our programs, we hand pick the accommodation on all the trips, and it's usually quite special accommodation. And so what does that mean? That when demand picks up, obviously all those rooms get booked up. And so, as I alluded to, we are unfortunately going to be in a position where some of the trips that we had planned to run later this year, we don't have the space available anymore. And I know that there's a lot of interest, and of course I can understand why many members are wanting to book last minute, considering current affairs, everything that's going on. And so we find ourselves once again in this tricky situation where we want to travel, we don't want to book too soon, but at the same time, if we don't plan ahead, it's going to be difficult to secure accommodation. So on that note, I'm regretful to announce that a few of our trips will be withdrawn, simply because the room inventory is being taken away from us. So we will not be able to go on our Greece island hopping trip this year. Similarly, our 5x5 to Germany and the Benelux countries is also going to be withdrawn. That was scheduled in August. And quite regrettably as well, our safari by land and sea to South Africa and the Seychelles Islands. There's simply so much demand that the several people that we had booked on it, we didn't quite have enough to have a group, and so we unfortunately have to withdraw that trip for this year. But I promise you we'll be going back, and in fact we're going to hold a webinar in a couple of weeks' time. We're calling it a last call for trips in 2022, trips that we are planning to move forward with, where we have a number of people signed up, but we are going to have to give back the rooms that we haven't booked sooner than later. And so if you're thinking about joining us to places like Ireland in June, or Scandinavia in July, or there's still some parts of our France Kaleidoscope program happening in October that are where there's still some spots left. So if you thought about traveling and haven't jumped on board yet, it would probably be a good time to do that. Because of course some of our other trips, Croatia in particular, is sold out both in May and October, because demand was so strong. So you just don't know what's going to happen, and I think that's the song that we're going to be singing for some time to come. Look forward to joining us next week. Week after next. This is my last report from the beautiful island of Madeira. We are leaving here tomorrow on Sunday, and many are going back home, but I'm continuing on to join our newest group of Live Away members in Cyprus, and we're looking forward to a great month there. And following that, as I say, I'll be delivering a webinar on our newest Live Away destination, Malta. That's happening on March the 17th at our usual time, 11 a.m. And so stay tuned for that, and you'll find the link to register in the blog below. Take care. Look forward to catching up with you next week, where I'll be broadcasting from Cyprus.